are welcome to the Bottom Line Liberia.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Jamal is my name. I want to say welcome to the Friday edition of the Bottom Line Liberia. Tonight, we'll be having a special guest tonight with us to be speaking on issues talking about political leadership. Before our guests come in, we have some other thing to discuss. But let me welcome you wherever you join us. My name is Jamal again from the city of Manchester, UK, and now with me tonight is my good friend and also a panelist, uh, Law Paul the Law play the good friend of King Charles is with me tonight. Will Mr. Dolly, Yankuba Dolly, be joining us as well as Mr. Francis Mensa will be joining us as well. But we just started earlier to so we can run on some things that are making news in the country, in Liberia to be specific. Also, we'll be highlighting on some news that are making around the world. But tonight we'll be speaking on a special issue. We got a guest now. We'll be talking on this topic. This is the topic tonight. We'll be having us Mr. Dr. Mohamed Sherif will be here to talk about how do conveying political leaderships styles impart individual values and yeah like social values and individual freedoms. He will be speaking to us tonight on this issue, so be our guest now at 8 o'clock UK time, Liberian time, 9 o'clock Central European time. The guest will be with us tonight. But in the meantime, we've got 1 or 2 minute things to discuss tonight. We'll be looking at some issues that are really catching our eyes in Liberia. But let me welcome my good friend Paul Delorge before we go for a quick musical break. Paul, welcome to the bottom line.
Thank you, Jamal, and good evening to you and to our listening audience. It's good to be back on the bottom line discussion, and I'm looking forward to a very fruitful discussion this evening. And Jamal, I want to say it's good to be among the living. I want to thank the Almighty God for giving me another life to be in paradise. How you doing?
I'm fine, Paul. Thank you very much. Paul, the thing is like, tell me this is a bad time for for those who live in Europe, and it's a winter time. How does it look like? Because you're looking this morning, very snowy here, looking really, really white. Yeah, I think we might have, because it seems to be that we may have white Christmas for those who celebrate Christmas. I think this is why many people wish in this part of the world they like to have a white Christmas. But how does it look like in London in terms of the weather?
But London has been extremely cool lately. Every morning we wake up, all the cars are full of ice, and the condition now is proper winter time. It's freezing cool, so it is where it is. It's something that we all get used to when you live in this part of the world. Yeah, it is freezing. How Manchester, by the way?
Manchester is great, Paul. We doing okay. It was just a wet, little bit of white, this snow, a little bit really, really dry today in Manchester. Those, like I've said, those who live in Europe, they really wish to have a white Christmas. I think with the way we are leading, and now if you're living around Europe right now, it's pitch dark. It's really, really dark right now. It's like 12 midnight everywhere in Europe. I mean, where I sit now in Manchester is really, really dark. And because it's winter, when it's Christmas, more especially, it got darker earlier, and there's a shorter. It's a longer night, shorter days. That's what happened. They always tell us. The weather meteorologists will tell you during winter time is a longer nights, shorter days, and this is what we're having. And the weather is really, really getting cold. And this is time people like to go to the tropics, more especially to Africa, Paul, to take a holiday. But Paul, quickly before we talk about that, what do we have is trending in Liberia? You got something that you want to let us know that's going on right now?
Well, the thing is, I came across something on Front Page Africa that brought to my attention regarding the new celebrated boxes that were brought by the government of Liberia. Those 35 new buses that came, the NTA buses. Then I've seen a video on Front Page Africa somewhere in one county. One of those buses got stuck in a tiny saying, I don't call that much. And you have students pushing those buses, but then looking at the condition of those buses, it seems to be a refabric buses that the government brought in. So it's something that we will look at. But not also in Liberia, this issue about the ability and the the government is something that it seemed not to go away. So those are the things that concerning in Liberia, the new.
Dr. Mohamed Sherif will be here to talk about how to. Sorry, Paul, for that interruption. Paul, quickly, you need to raise your volume a little bit, but you are not coming very loud and clear. Now
Can
that was it.
can you hear me
Paul,
now?
what's the video you said we're gonna have the new buses. The government gave assisted buses coming up recently, and you had this issue with the buses and Front Page Africa like being sent. I mean, there's a video Front Page Africa. That's a media institution like we are called Front Page Africa newspaper, and they have their own video also. They run one of the journalists or one of the correspondents capture one of the new buses that just the government just launched was caught somewhere like have some mechanical problem or I don't know what the problem is, but let's see what we got on the video. So Paul, let's see if we got on the video right now.
Okay.
And
Yes. The open job, all the job, and he good. So I don't know, you do that job. Well, make sure you can flip in the list. Yeah. So I never see any. Well, let's go.
Where students from across Banga are helping to push this car hitch. There's a new MTA bus.
while you just saying it, that was a video from Front Page Africa. The new released National Transit Authority in Liberia. One of the buses in Banga was caught, I mean, mechanical problem. I don't know, Paul, what was the problem? I understand that it got stuck into the mud or it got stuck into the sand. I don't think there's a mud in that area. And students or citizens are coming around to help out to push out. It could be a mechanical problem. What do you think? These are new buses or they were refurbished, or you may have some idea what are these buses? Are these just a week ago the buses were launched? I mean, the president was saying in one of those buses going around showing that the government is coming to ease transportation across the country. Now the first trip or one of the trips to the Leeward counties in Bond County, you found that the car is creating a mechanical problem. So what does it say to us, Paul?
Well, it seems to me that these are all refurbished buses that they brought into the country. The way I've seen it, it looked like if you have if the buses are new, my man, new buses won't easily stuck in anymore. They will have some sort of standard that they'll put in a serious gear and will just move it. If you find student pushing these buses, what does that tell you? It could have been mechanical fault and they had to push it. So the mud issue could be the other link to it. But those are all buses that they just decided. So it almost reminds me about the little buses that the government brought into the country. They did a test and then they took it back. That's how it looked like.
But I think the government was very, very, very at the boastful of like we promised going to ease transportation across the country. We will bring you new buses. There was a noise about the first buses that came in. It was like people complained it was refurbished buses. They were not good. They were not mechanically good to road. They were not roadworthy to apply the country roads in Liberia. And now they're bringing 35 to 30 buses of the 60 premised. And now the first one has been captured. The video has been going viral from Front Page Africa. That, Paul, what is this? Just less than a week we have issues. So what do you expect that most of the buses could have issues like this across the country? So what's the government thinking? Are they not looking at the verifying these buses or really checking them, mechanically checking them before they let them go? I mean, applying our major rules in the country.
Oh, but the thing is, if you buy a new bus, you want to do a mechanic because it's come from the manufacturer, so it should be okay. So if it have a manufacturer fault, and then you send the buses back to where they came from. But if that second-hand buses, this is where you get. And that's what, so if it's new, they won't have people pushing it.
Wow. I mean, was this stock? Get me right here. Was this stock in the sand, or we had a mechanical? Let's get it straight. Was this stock in the sand, or it has a mechanical problem?
Play the video again. If you see if a bus stop in a mud, you see some places where they are saying.
The most good John, I enter the car there, I can't see around. My other John, I buy a friend, he goes there, I want to hear student. But when I get a job, I have a student, I learn that role from Phoebe, Ghana Highway, all the students, I learn that role. So the man, he is very good. Yes. The open job, all the John, and he good. So I don't know, he do that job. Well, make sure you can flip on the list. Yeah. So I never see any. Well, let's go.
Where students from across Banga are helping to push this car hitch. There's a new MTA bus.
Wow, but I think they think the car got stuck into the sand. I mean, that's not mud. You can't call that mud. And if the car can't move that, I mean, you can't leave that. They don't have the car. That particular bus does not have the power to move. Then that tells us a lot about what they bring in for us. Look, you think? Let's get to the clear picture of this. Do you know the source of these buses? Where did they come from?
No clue at all, but we know the government were saying they made promise to the people. So where they coming from? No idea, to be honest with you. Something that we have to investigate, because you cannot bring new buses in the country. Then after less than 5 days, you have situation and then people now looking at the buses, looking at the wheel of those buses, and now the conclusion people are coming that they are second-hand buses that the government brought into the country.
All right, thank you very much. You just joining us this morning in Liberia. My name is Jamal Kamara. Tonight we have with me Paul the Lord Chilpley. We'll be having a special guest. The guest is with us back in the studio with us tonight, and he is Dr. Mohamed Sherif. He's an advocate, I think, a lawyer, and also an advocate and a lawyer, and he's very tough talker. We'll be off to discuss political leadership styles, what the influence, the values is on our freedoms, and also our individual values, and also on our freedom. You'll be with us to discuss this topic tonight. The kind of leadership style we have, what impact does it have on our societal values and also on our individual freedoms? Dr. Sherif is now a stranger to this platform. He's been here with us a month and a half ago. He was with us to discuss other issues, but tonight we'll be talking about political leadership styles. How can we look at it? And we want you to be our guest. And sure, we want you to be part of the show. And if you just join us, please share your thought with us. And we'll take a quick break and we'll come back. We'll bring on our guest. Take a quick break and we'll be with you.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. Y'all gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people who us, the people lots of us. The government betray us. So much. I said, the people who are so
The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not go for. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. Fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the corrupt. I said no one to trust. My people don't want to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they said they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So, why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the corrupt. We tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us. You screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie.
Once again, welcome to the Borderline Liberia. Jamal Kamara is my name. Tonight, we want to welcome you on the 21st of November, Friday, 2025. We're coming to you live from mainland Europe, and this is the Borderline Liberia live discussions. Tonight, we have a special guest to discuss our political leadership styles, the pros and the cons. Dr. Mohamed Sherif will be our guest. A couple of minutes. He will be with us in studio. But let me welcome my colleague, Paul Delors, Mr. Yankuba Dole. Once again, welcome, gentlemen. We want you to say, how do you feel today? Mr. I just spoke to Paul a couple of minutes ago. Mr. Dole, welcome. I thought you just came back from another show.
Oh, yes.
You stay energetic to speak to us tonight. How are you? Welcome to the Borderline once again.
I was just dealing with someone a tough leg on that stop show tonight. So, I'm really, really energetic right now to talk. And turning issue right now.
All right. Once again, welcome to the Burn Liberia. Welcome, Mr. Dolet. And Paul, once again, welcome. And tell her this is a leadership. Our guest will be speaking about what we call leadership tonight. And he's here. Just want to once again talk about Paul. Just tell me before our guest, we will introduce our guest to you. About the leadership, political leadership style. This is what is happening. And the problem could come on the word leadership itself. It's issues in Africa. It's a bigger issue in Africa. Just tell me a 1 or 2 minute on that. What do you think is our problem? Leadership in Africa. Why is it having an issue? We have an issue. And tonight, the good thing is our guest, well versed in the area of political leadership, is well learned man, is a PhD holder. He's also in the area of law, also is a professor, assistant, I think professor as well in one of the universities. And he will be telling us why we're looking at the leadership. And Paul, is this something we're talking about leadership to help to change the dynamics or the narratives in Africa?
Yeah, thank you, Jamal. And I want to say good evening to our audience. It's good to see you, Padole. Jamal is right. So the topic will be a very interesting topic today. I want to give an example with one particular person in leadership at the moment in Africa. There's a guy in Cameroon called Paul Biya, who at the age of 92 decided to contest for another 7 years, and he's seeing there's more to come. After 43 years in office, he have not done anything, but he said there's more to come. So this have to do with leadership. There is a saying in the world that they say, a good dancer knows when to leave the stage. In Africa, our leaders don't know when to leave the stage, and their decision making is always bad. So it's good. It's good that we have Dr. Sherif here. He would narrow it down. So that's about the leadership that we face, leadership crisis in Africa.
Right. Mr. Dolet, I knew you also, Mr. Dr. Mohamed Sherif is no stranger to you. Probably we will ask him to introduce himself to our audience that don't know him. But just in one line, tell us, what do you think about issues of leadership styles in our country, in the continent of Africa?
My belief in leadership, to be a good leader, you must, first of all, respect the rule of law as a leader, and also make sure that you be transparent in dealing with situation as a leader. You make sure that the constitution of your country, so the organic law of the country, should be superior to anybody. System should be superior to any other issue in the country. If you respect the system, respect the rule of law as a leader, and be a good listener, and be transparent, then you are a good leader. That's how I see it to be.
Right. Thank you very much. There you have it, Mr. Dollar. Comment on leadership. You have to be you have to be law abiding. You have to know what how to run the country. Those things come with special characteristics. Not everybody have that as leaders. So we have tonight. This is a topic. You see it on the screen. The topic says, how do varying political leadership styles impact societal values and individual freedoms? Tonight, we are happy, we are privileged to have with us the Honorable Dr. Mohamed Sherif. I'm going to bring down this thing, and then we'll give you our guest, the chance to tell her who he is. So most of our guests, our audience, don't know who Dr. Sherif is. He was with us sometimes to go to as one guest, but now we're giving the room to one of the ones to welcome you. Dr. Sherif, welcome once again to the online platform.
Thank you, Jamal. I'm Mohamed Sherif, a small student, always looking for opportunity to learn, especially looking at from a traditional background and how the white people doing their own and other people their own and working for them. So are the kind of person that like to look for knowledge. So that all this Mohamed Sherif.
Yeah, Dr. Sherif, before I speak or ask my colleagues to come in, probably I know you want to be a very, very simple man, but tell her, because we carry, like, people wonder in what area you acquire your PhD. Just tell her where in what. Let us know.
Okay, so I first did I followed a line of law, and I have a PhD in law, and I studied in England. You know that I lived in England, and then now I am doing another doctorate or set of doctorates in public policy, but based on my thesis that I'm working on. So my professors decided that, oh, this thesis is good the way you wrote it. It reached a level, so they made it a joint doctorate degree in public policy and criminology. So that's the last one I'm pursuing. So so that's all about me. And then while in my university, I have opportunity to be teaching and just teaching small to survive.
Okay,
So
kind of a teacher assistant, is it?
yeah,
Or professor
not
assistant.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Sherif. So,
Sometimes I teach undergraduate, sometimes I teach postgraduates,
all
especially
right.
in criminology and law areas.
So, in a couple of months, we'll be calling you Dr. Mohamed Sherif. Is that correct?
No, you call me Mohamed Sherif.
You like to be called, but all right. You know, one those that will carry the bigger titles, like I mean, it's very common in Africa. They like to confer the doctor degree. We would like to give you that title. Is it you deserve it? Is it?
Yeah, I work for it, but I don't like to boast about achievement.
Okay.
Anyway,
All right.
I, I
Anyway,
like I like the achievement to speak for itself instead of me speaking about it.
right. Thank you. I mean, we just want to direct you a little bit. Not to that's not a topic. We want to discuss tonight leadership, political leadership styles. I know you got a couple of them you want to talk to us tonight. Yeah. So just before I take you through, what is leadership for you?
Okay, leadership, I can say, is an opportunity given to an individual to serve people in the best way possible, that everybody will not be satisfied, but most people or almost everybody will live a life that they will be free from harm, and they will be able to realize their dream if they work hard for it.
Thank you. Paul, that's our guest. I want to welcome Paul. Paul, Mr. Dole, you can also, my guest is here. I want to welcome our guest. And also, if you like, give you the first question, if you like. Now go to Paul.
Thank you, Jamal, and welcome, Dr. Sherif. Although you don't like to be called a doctor, Dr. Sherif. So, but the way you're getting all of these doctorate degrees, don't you think that at some point in time that you'll be called the Dr. Sherif? And I went. What time were you leave the stage? You say a good dancer know when to leave the stage. What time were you quit?
I know people who Lord Chorope, I know people who have 35 PhDs. I know people who have 10 PhDs, 20, and so on. In America, in England, I mean, you can just choose to do it. It's just a research. Just be innovative. Your research area should be a grounded thing and accepted as an original knowledge. So once you do that, I know someone who did chemistry. He has a PhD in math. He got a PhD in computer science. Now he has a doctorate degree in political science, and so on. Just continue to do groundbreaking research. It's about commitment.
Yeah, I can see that. You know, when you're appearing, sometimes people look at who is this guy here with all of these dreadlocks, and they found that this guy is a doctor doing another doctor, and this guy is all over the place. It's good to see you, my brother. It's good to be on the bottom line. We had a good time in Liberia. It's good to see you again on the program. Welcome. What Jamal asked me a question before you came out. What make you, about leadership? I'm gonna be political here because we know that decision making in Africa amongst our leaders are very bad. I will give example with Liberia, and then I will start with Cameroon. Paul Biya, as a leader, he been there for what, over 40 plus years. He just got elected again for 7 more years, and he's telling the people of Cameroon they yet to see the best out of him at the age of 93. What say you?
Okay, so if I can quote from Nelson Mandela said the problem of Africa is not war, poverty, or disease. He said it's a tragic failure of leadership. From the time I heard that word, I was in school and I started to research what do they mean by tragic failure of leadership. It is when people who are given the responsibility to govern fail in a way that it hard to even repair it. It's just like somebody get egg in their hand, they drop it a bus. How you can put the egg together and become egg again? So, if I may, I can discuss few kinds of leadership before we go in deep.
Go on, sir.
Yes, he can flow.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so let's look at democratic leadership. Democratic leadership generally mean listening to the voice of the majority, but not ignoring the voice of the minority. And in democratic leadership, you allow the people to express their opinion freely without fear or believing that if they say something, somebody will go look for them to knock their door, or not calling somebody on the phone or texting them to say, don't do this, don't do that, and you control them. That is not democratic leadership. That is what they call autocratic leadership. And autocratic leadership, that when somebody feel that they can rule people by force, legitimacy by force, to make themselves look like nobody like them, nobody can be like them. If you not listen to them, it's a total disaster. Something will happen to you. And Liberia had that kind of leadership before. The man, I don't know how he won elections. His name was Topman. He won elections 7 times. He was from Maryland. I don't know whether his height even reached 5 feet. Topman was a soldier. Topman was a senator. Topman was a magistrate. Topman, he one became Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Topman went to the UN to defend fraudulent elections to the United Nations and other courts. Topman became vice president. Topman became president and won elections 7 times. We will be discussing him from the Liberian perspective. Then we have theocratic leadership. Somebody who uses the name of God to believe that, like, that God put them there, so we must lead them, nobody must put more on them. So there are leaders that make themselves look like this, that God put them there, so nobody must put more on them. The moment you talk to them, they are infallible. Whatever they say is true. And their followers are very, very gullible. Anything that person say, nobody must bring another opinion about them. You try it, you bad person. And they will find a way to deal with you. So we have examples of theocratic leadership in the Middle East and even in Africa. People there who say, like Iran, is mostly ruled by theocratic leadership. We have even Cameroon you're talking about. He's both autocratic, he's theocratic, and he's on the pedestal leadership. Pedestal leadership, that somebody who his followers making look like small God. Anything he said are true. Even the things he did before, Let's say that person were working for an international NGO. The kind of way he people created her image or create his image, it will look like, in fact, without him, that NGO was never going to function. So now that he has become leader, the problem of that country is solved. It's also embedded in what they call hero worship. So within this few time, we will be discussing all these four kinds of leadership and how they affect society and how to challenge those kind of leadership to change it to have a society wherein everybody will be free to participate in their environment. So these are the four areas we'll be exploring, and every one of them I will be giving examples that we know of, we can read about, we find out about it.
All right.
So I actually did this as a course in my studies on governance.
Okay. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. We will expand on that, and we also questions on these the pros and cons of the various styles of political leadership. But then I'll give the chance to Mr. Dollar. Mr. Dollar, could you please welcome our guest, and if you have the chance to ask him a question, please.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sherif, welcome back again to Bottom Line. And I will be glad to ask you a few questions. One of my questions is, what is the meaning of white collar dictator?
Okay. A white collar dictator is almost like the last one example I gave, a pedestal leadership. Okay, white collar dictatorship is just like somebody who using, like he go to school, like right now we got in Algeria a professor of law who became president. Now he's changing all the laws, playing inside and changing it to finger document, changing it, changing all the law, finger the constitution, change it to favor him. That is also like a white collar thief, somebody who
First of all,
because of his education, because of his exposure to modernity, to white men way of living, he want to use that as an excuse to say, oh, I'm modernizing, I'm changing things. So he using that as an excuse to oppress his people. There are lots of examples that I will give you along the line about white collar and other forms of leadership. And like also, not only the white collar, let me go to pedestal leadership. For example, those kind of bad leaders, they use either religion or they use tribalism or they use all of those three autocratic, theocratic, and pedestal leadership. They get something in common. They thrive on division, divide and rule. So once they succeed, because for an African, when you tell him about tribal business, you finish cashing. And that was how they succeeded in making Africa not to unite. And the same person that did that was the first man I mentioned, top man from Maryland. They had the Morovia group and they had the Casablanca or Morocco group. Tubman was the one that led the charge for Africa not to be united because the man had been ruling 7 times. So he thought that nobody more take away that power from him. And that's the reason why within Tubman's leadership in Liberia, let me touch on it. It was 1951 that people rebel against him and challenge him and say, look, women got to vote. 1951, 1952 elections, women had to vote. The indigenous Liberians that own the land that you're killing your body from, they too got to vote. They even had a criteria that you must show them land, you must show them property before you vote. But they never had no criteria to vote. Once you are from one of the settlements, you vote. So Tubman, the way to challenge dictatorship, that is what Amos Sawyer and the other people did. That's what brought about Moja, Soup, and the other groups. This is what happened in Uganda. Idi Amin had to overthrow Milton Obote. And there was this kind of tribal thing that was happening. You had the Acholi and the Langi. So when when Milton Obote were in charge, he favored his tribal people. He made them believe that only them supposed to rule. And that's the game they play. Autocrats and pedestal leaders and theocratic people. They make people believe that, okay, by this tribe. So what happened? When General Idi Amin overthrew him, he was from the Kakwa. So he himself brought his own Kakwa people. And failing to realize that the Acholi, the Langi, and those groups, they are all within, they are from the Nilotic Congolese language. So you have them in Kenya, Tanzania, and those other groups. So they came together with Milton Obote because he already had war with Tanzania. So they just came together to remove him. I can give you another example of a very bad leader. You see, what made Idi Amin, for them to remove him, it was very easy. Is because when in Uganda, when they were peddling, they were making people to feel that, okay, tribalism, using tribe as tribal card to maintain power, forgetting to know that in that region, that language, the Luo, and because they are all from the Luo group of the Bantu group. So those people, they just along that belt, they are over 20 million plus. So they just came together and supported Museveni to remove him. Museveni been there since 1980 something, 40 something years as well in power. Just like we have Paul Biya. Museveni says he still gets something to offer after 40 years in power. You get this other one in Cameroon, say he still get more to offer. So you
Right.
see that.
Yeah, thank you very much. You just want to, I know you got a lot to tell us. We want to first welcome our colleague Francis Manson, who just joined us. Francis, welcome. Before Francis give your questions, you just talk about Tubman. I know you talk about a couple of leadership styles that we want to talk about. We'll be asking you on. Do you think these leadership those leadership styles have they had a pro as well, the good side of it, they had the advantages of it? Do you care to talk about that? Do they have all because you talk about autocratic pedestal and autocratic leaderships and authoritarian leadership, do they have a pros a positive side as well?
You see, I remember during the time George Weah was in power, you heard Samuel Toy saying he wants George Weah, or George Weah is a benevolent dictator. I think you heard that word before, benevolent dictator. What dictators do? We are now talking about the detox playbook. What they do, they divide the communities by being benevolent. You know, top matter during 26, they can divide it to everybody. They go to the mansion, they line up, they get them rest, they get them money. So people were blind. That's the reason why Tubman packed all the Liberian Damo. He got in shape and went to the queen. He was making relationship to one of the queen children. I think she died, Queen Elizabeth's sister. She died now. She died of frustration somehow. She could not get good relationship to marry. Tubman left from here, packed Liberian Damo. He went there. And that's the reason why when he came back, the vice president he had by then, how you will go, my man, 2 years on ship. You're not in the country, the vice president ruling. Then he came back, he said the man didn't want to get him changed. So the I made they change the constitution today of Liberia. The vice president cannot be immediately the acting president when the president is away. So what they do, they gave some benefits to some members of society. Yes, Tubman, yeah, he had what we call the open door policy, allowing companies to come into Liberia. That's how Bowman came into Liberia. That's how other companies came into Liberia. But guess what? The wealth of the nation was in the hands of only a few people. That's why you see properties from Tubman time, people stay renting it today. Government stay renting it because he formed a clique of those who kept him in power, putting on pedestal that nobody can put more on him.
All right. Thank you very
The
much. I
good
want to
side of
welcome. This okay. Thank you. This is a brilliant answer to that question for my end. I want to welcome Francis. Want you to welcome our guest, Dr. Sherif, and you also have the chance to ask your question if you like.
Oh no, good evening, guys, and good evening, Dr. Sherry. Um, I think the discussion surrounding leadership in Africa is very important because of the changing geopolitics around the world, especially in the global south, where we have we dictators or authoritarians ruling countries. So I will reserve any question. I just joining. I don't know, so I will reserve my questions and I'll follow the discussion later on. I will
Okay,
post a
that's
question.
fine. Thank you very much. If you just joined us this morning, Liberia, we have Dr. Mohamed Sherif, who is our guest tonight to talk about political leadership styles, the good side of it and the bad side of it. And tonight, if you just joined us, please follow us on our Facebook, YouTube, and as well as our website. And Paul, that's Dr. Sherif is here, so let's see what you got for him.
Oh, Dr. Sherry, thank you. I heard you, I mean, Padre, they asked you about what kind of leadership. I just want you to give us an answer here regarding this young leader in Burkina Faso that is now making a lot of headway around the world. What kinds of group will you put him in? This young military man that have transformed the Sahel nation and seems to let everyone like kind of looking at him to be one of the best leaders at the moment. Which group will you put him in?
Okay, your voice coming in broken, but what I heard, I will try to answer. Now, you
If,
should
if,
remember that,
if you can hear me, if you can hear me, you want me to repeat?
yeah, what I have to say about Burkina Faso leadership. Okay, so here's the thing: we should bear in mind that um, military governments are not democratic governments; they are not elected. So, therefore, they rule by decree. And ruling by decree does not carry most of the time the consent of the elected officials. Nonetheless, people there who overthrew, they became leaders, they did very well. Let's take, for example, Paul Kagame in Rwanda. He overthrew, and during his time as military leader, he tended to modernize his country. Then later, he transformed to become a civilian leader. I do not in anyhow advocate for a military rule, but in certain circumstances, that is the solution to address dictators, especially those who feel that they are autocratic and on pedestal. They way up there, they are like small gods, and that's why even those who are Bible scholars, their pride, there's something they call ultra ego, ultra ego personality. They believe that their level, nobody there, and so anybody challenging them, they are very destructive. They will fight to destroy you. I'll give you an example. So this young man in Burkina Faso, from all indications, he falls under the millennial age and not the Gen Z. He has seen that development can only happen when people agree. He is a military leader, but there is proof that he's listening to his people, although there is no elected legislative body. He's listening. We saw that happen with Rwanda, with Paul Kagame. We also saw that Yoweri Museveni, when he took over, he was actually listening to his people until he transformed. What happens is that people start as very good leaders, but the people around them, when they put them on a pedestal, they make them believe that the small God, nobody can touch them. I'll give you a series of them. If you look at Adolf Hitler, he started good as a good savior of the German people from the bad economy. So they hailed him until he felt that, okay, the Jewish people were responsible for the problems in his country. I want to tell you something. One of the games of dictators, they find fault. I never worked with him before, so he can't be vice president of me. They may come from this tribal background or he comes from this religious background, so he can't hold this position. Now, we saw that the struggle in Uganda, General Tito Okello, after they removed Milton Obote, he came there, they removed Milton Obote, they removed Ami, Tito Okello came, he continued the same craziness. Now, we go to back to Chad, Hussein Habre. He overthrew as a military man. The man transformed and he was put on a pedestal. Nobody can put more on him. You try it, they kill you. This destroys societies. And it starts from small institutions. It can't start from big institutions to the state. It starts from small social clubs, political groups. You will have a political leader that nobody can correct him. When he sees that you have talent, he will go after you. He will go after that person in the party or in the club to make sure that that person does not go anywhere. When you see those signals happening in football club, in community club, in political institutions, that person, when they become a leader, that is what they will display at national level. I'll give you an example of Mengistu Hari Mariam from Ethiopia. Mengistu Hari Mariam was a military man, started small. A father was a military man, a mother was a domestic servant. Most of these people that rise up to certain level and they show that they're very powerful and they want to get rid of people, check their background. Some of them came from very poor place. Small opportunities smile at them, they feel that they already got. Mengistu Hari Mariam went for only 2 trainings in the US. So when Mengistu Hari Mariam went for those trainings, as soon as Emperor Haile Selassie was overthrown, immediately there was power struggle. He believed that his opportunity, and he was so violent that he was not listening to his people until the famine of Ethiopia in 1983 to 1985. They had to remove him because the man could not listen to anybody. He was both autocratic and on a pedestal.
Right.
He up
Thank you
there.
very much.
Nobody
Mr. Can we hold you? I know you do a very good explanation. Just because of time, Father, we just get the other some of my colleagues the chance to also ask you. I know I'm sorry for interrupting you. I want you to stop there. Francis or Mr. Dollar, if you got any questions, want to pop in before I come in on a question. You got a question for our guest?
Yes, definitely. I have a question to ask.
Go on, please. Make it short there, please.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Mr. Dollar, go on. Then Francis will come in.
Yeah, because I heard Paul was talking. I don't know. All right. Basically, I would like to ask Sherif, what is the consequences of government who believe in tribal sentiment? Tribalism.
Okay, so I will give you an example of those who believe in it. You see, I kept bringing Uganda. The problem that happened in Uganda throughout was tribalism. The Luo, the Acholi, the Langley, the Kakwa. So it resulted in a way that if you bring about tribalism, you will drive those tribes have family connections all around. Let me give you an example of Liberia. If somebody say they want to target crew, you must get prepared to fight not only Liberia. You will fight Ghana, you will fight Sierra Leone because they got crew. If you want to fight the Kisi, get prepared to fight Guinea as well because they got Kisi. And don't underestimate playing there now. They will come from Kisimu in Kenya because there's Kisi in Kenya, 100%, the same Kisi. They will come. If you target the Bassa, get ready, people will come from Cameroon and they will come from Niger. Now, let's look at the Mande speaking group. Somebody say, oh, I listen to radio discussions, on Facebook. People say, no, Mandingo people, look, in West Africa, Mandingo is between 40 to 50 million people. 40 to 50 million people. And I'll name the countries that have Mandingos. And the groups that fall under Mandingo, you got to also know who they are. When you say Mandingo or the Mande speaking group, you have the Dan, which is the Gio. You have the Mano. You have the Pele. You have the Loma. You have the Mende. You have the Bandi. You have the Vai. Those are all Mandingo related groups. Mandingo as a subset of the Mande speaking group. You have it in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Ivory Coast, Mali, Senegal, Gambia, Burkina Faso. Are you able to war against 7 or 8 nations? You can't win. And that's the reason why the war in Ivory Coast against Alhassan Ouattara did not win. Alassane Ouattara won. Now, if you say you are specifically going to target the crown, you will really stay long fighting. Because there's a language in Angola and part of East Africa called Kwanyama. Because I studied linguistics first as my first degree. They have similar characteristics and cultural practices just like the crown. So when you target them, you are inviting Kwanyama and you are inviting war within Ivory Coast and within the Liberian border. So the consequences of tribal conflict by any dictator, the only answer to them is removing them from power. And that's why you see Mengistu Haile Mariam is in Zimbabwe today, because he became a dictator. He started to target the tribes that were not Amharic, the Tigray people, and then the people from Eritrea.
Sorry, do you
So
talk
they had
about
to remove him.
Ethiopia? Sorry, Dr. Sherif, Mengistu Haile was in Ethiopia or Zimbabwe? Okay, you got that correct for me, please.
He is from Ethiopia and he's on exile in Zimbabwe as I speak to you now.
Okay, okay.
He was there. I think he died last year.
Mm-hmm.
Idi Amin fled Uganda and was in Saudi Arabia because he was allergic and they hosted him. He died there. You have Hussein Habre from Chad. He was in
Senegal.
When he fled Chad, he was in Senegal. He went through trial. I followed that trial. And then he was convicted. He remained there, but they not put him in jail. He died there. I can give you another dictator, Emperor Bokassa of Central Africa.
Yes, Dr. Sherif, thank you very much. I think we will give it to me. I like the way you're coming through now. But I think my colleague Francis here, who just I think from what you just said, you're taking cue from what you said. We want to Francis, would like to ask a question?
Yes, I mean, I like the historicity of dictator, autocrat leadership. So, what is the linkage between people who agitate? Because there are some leaders considered as agitators. They then to become leader of the country. So do they carry that trait, that kind of political trait along with them in the governance process? Because
yes.
I mean, what I'm saying
okay,
now,
so
like everything, I heard you talking about Tipote and Lex Obago Matthew. Those guys, they were considered some as for some people they were agitators, some people they were freedom fighters. So unfortunately they did not get the opportunity to become leader. But Sawyer did. And so what is the linkage between that?
Okay, so here's the thing. So that's the reason why I said, when you have dictators, people who start, like I gave you a background of Tubman, he became senator at 18, and he almost got all positions of authority in this country. The man became a soldier, he became a magistrate, he became a Supreme Court judge, he became he was sent to the UN, he became vice president, he became president and won 7 times. In fact, Tubman's name was almost like calling the name of a god. When the man died in England, to even announce a death, they was here to announce it, the man died. That's a pedestal leader. They made him almost like a god. Like theocratic leadership. One family, I show you North Korea, that only one family, they are like designated like that God put them there, that one family will be there. And that's the reason why anybody, any leader you see, for example, even in social club, he win the first time, the second time for election in the club, he push it behind, play on it for it not to happen and cause problem and say that these people want cause problem in the club. And you see political leaders, they run 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, they keep running. Their character shows that they are depraved mind. They got problem. They get problem. Anybody you see that wants to impose their will on other people, even those who are Bible scholars say God said human being, he gave human being the willpower, free moral agent. Because I don't want to go to Quran right now. They say free moral agent. So in the democratic governance, let's look at Mandela. When Mandela took over, he had all the ability to pay there on the people who put him in jail. But he looked at what F.W. de Klerk did. He said, if this guy as a white man, with all what I went through, can accept and transfer power to me, revenge should not be the way forward. So he ruled 1 time. He listened to the people. He listened to his body. He knew that he's old. And he had to bring people up. There was Thabo Mbeki, there was Jacob Zuma, there were other people. One of the things you should always observe about leaders, anybody that not building people, but he's a leader, a manager in office, he not helping people to go study, helping to train people, sharing knowledge with them, showing them how to come up. That's a very bad leader that want to remain in power forever. So if you notice that in a social club or a political institution, don't let that person grow. The nation should
Just
reject
to
that
follow
person,
up,
because what will happen, let me just finish. What will happen, we'll go back to the same dark days, that the way Sawyer and other people were fighting for freedom, Moja and the other groups, Soup and the other groups were fighting for the basic freedom. We'll come back to those days. And if people try to drive Liberia back to those days, there's a philosophy of Chairman Mao. He said political power does not come except by the barrel of the gun. That was what Charles Taylor used. Said to break this cycle, this hegemony. Political hegemony is the ruling class want to remain there, hegemony. You have to break it. And that what happened with Pol Pot in Cambodia. You hear brother number 1 to brother number 5. They destroyed the lives of people, millions of people, just because they want to remain in power. And anybody who question what they're doing, they unleash, they tell people who believe in them, who worship them as a god, to go after you. So we need to start to filter those who want to become representative, who want to become senators, who want to become presidents at every level. Look at your peers, look at people who are aspiring for leadership. If they have those tendencies, don't let them grow, because it might not be you today, but your grandchild or great grandchild will be a victim of them. Look at Paul Biya at 92. Where he should be retired. Even Obasanjo, that led power in Nigeria, told the man, say, my man, by this time you should be grandfather resting home, not to be running for elections. Go ahead, Francis.
My analogy, I want to draw an analogy here with a leadership style. You are trumpeting some of the shortcomings of dictatorship, but I think it's just an opinion that you can counter. I think most of the guys, most of the leaders who are dictators now, from the onset, they presented themselves, or they portray themselves as good citizens. I mean, they were respecters of rights, human rights, and democratic tendencies. But I think the reason why they turn into dictators is that they have people who went after them as well. So in the event of going or going after the or say or reciprocal actions, they tend not to relinquish power. So there's all I would like to say that there is always a reason, there's always a cost that associated of people who turn themselves to as dictators because they are afraid to relinquish power. Is that true?
So that fear is unfounded, because if you come to power, and that's the reason why democratic leadership is good, don't allow anybody to tamper with constitution. That should be strongly discouraged by any country. Alassane Ouattara had to modify the constitution. Now he finished running 4 times. For Paul Biya, it was done. Uganda, it was done. Let me tell you something. And this woman recently that got 98% in Tanzania. You know, all of the people, including Adolf Hitler, came as a savior, including Jean-Baptiste Aristide of Haiti. He was even a priest. So everybody thought that, okay, Jean-Baptiste Aristide, that was priest. So when he came, he would make that difference. I want you to know that somebody has a background noise. So I want you to know that in reality, yes, they can start as good people, but when a good girl gone bad or a good boy gone bad, people have to confront them. And that's the reason why you have a term of office. Some countries is 4 years, some is 5 years, some is 6 years, some is 7 years, some is 10 years. But when that person term finish, the 2-term limit. If you see, even at political party level, somebody changing constitution to extend their lifetime in political party leadership or social club leadership, you get them presidency, they will change the constitution. Because they already used to finger document, like the man in Algeria, the professor of law. He just put his hands inside, leave it in electronic form. And they have people supporting them to believe that, okay, that the right thing they're doing. Those are people. Something going wrong? Hello?
Yeah, I can see that. You hear me?
I hearing you. Yeah, it went off. So we see that the only way to do it is to confront them. And who should confront them if they are presidents? The first people to confront them is the legislature that should refuse to amend the constitution. And then when there is a referendum whether to amend the constitution, the citizens should stand strong. So to say people were after my life, this, that, politics, if you become president, it's an enviable position. People want it. Protect yourself. And when your time finish, if the time you ruling, you treat people bad, why are you afraid to leave power? You shouldn't be afraid. You understand, Francis? When the man time finish, let him move from there. You need to be afraid.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sherif. I know we don't want to keep you too long here. If you just joined us about Liberia, coming to you live from Milan, Europe, and if you're just following us and you're also following us right now, share the show. And also, if you have a question for our guest, he's speaking on the political leadership styles, and you can just drop a question if you have the opportunity to ask him, and you have the chance to look at it. We'll ask we'll also ask him. And it's a discussion here, and he's discussing the political leadership styles and what the good and the bad side of it. Dr. Sherif, I know does a leader's personal values influence his leadership style?
Oh yes. Yeah. You see, your personal values are things that create a frame of mind of who you are. That's why you can hear a liberal Democrat, you hear a conservative, you hear a centrist, you hear all of those things. It's their values that make them who they are, and psychologists and sociologists, political scientists classify their political views. So, yes, your moral value can influence you. For example, theocratic leaders, they use the name of God to justify what they're doing. That, oh, yes, like Boko Haram in northern Nigeria.
Okay.
Boko Haram.
Okay, that's fine. Any question, Paul, from you?
Well, the thing is, if you guys can hear me,
Yeah, go on, Paul. Could you come a little bit closer
yeah,
to the microphone?
yeah. If you guys can hear me, that would be good. I just want Dr. Sherry said something earlier, with concerning President Tubman. He was military man. He was chief justice. He was everything. And
Not Chief
so,
Justice, he was
No,
Associate Justice.
social justice or
associate,
clerk,
right,
clerk or court.
associate justice. So this guy, he was a man, I would say all in one. And a leadership style was a bad leadership style. This guy, and you talk about my good friend, King King Charles' auntie, she was Princess Margaret that he said President Tubman had some affair with. Can you verify this story? Because we heard the thing when we were kids that Tubman had a relationship with Queen Elizabeth. So I wanted to get a gist of this story because when I meet my good
The,
friend King Charles, so I can have a tea with him and have a laugh.
okay, so here is it, I've read it on, and from these are leadership, different write-ups. I have read it and I've heard it, that he had a relationship, uh, companionship with, and when white men say companionship, right?
Yeah.
You know the meaning companionship. You know what that means. They can't say girlfriend, they say companion. For big people, that companion. For lower people, that girlfriend. When you are not on the good side of the people, you are a rebel when you're fighting. But when you are on the good side of the elite, you are a freedom fighter. You are a liberator. So they are the same name, can be in two ways depending on who is calling it. So Tubman actually was the person that should have fixed Liberia, but he was even, I think there was a movie called Conan the Destroyer. Tubman's legacy about the development of Liberia was very poor. He did not have clear vision of where he wanted to take Liberia. All he knew, he opened Liberia up, people come, take minerals. He was in the good books. He was the darling of the West. Everywhere he go, he's accepted. He can be, they will see him with the king, the queen, King George. He's with this person, he's with that person. You see him everywhere. Foot check. All Liberian presidents, or not even some, you will see them with picture from the White House. You see them picture from France. You see them with world leaders. You see them. Their biggest legacy, that picture.
Okay.
That this
Dr.
president
Sherry,
said, and last year he take picture here with the King of England.
that is Sherry. I think we continue. We'll keep going. This is a very nice discussion going. But let's take one question from one of our followers, or one of our audience, somewhere from the audience. This is, I'll put it on the screen so you can read it. It says, this is what it says. If you can read it. Doctor, do you subscribe to the racist view that Africans are mostly incapable of the self-governance, thus the level of what is that, instability on the continent? That's from
No,
Alfonso Stali.
yeah, I want to tell Alfonso that don't believe in that. Africans were self-governed before the arrival of the Europeans on the African continent. Just like there were wars between kingdoms. If you look at the kingdoms that kill people more in the world, is the British Empire. They kill over 200 million people. The Ottoman Empire, the Genghis Khan, the different empires, the Japanese, they kill plenty of people. So nobody should tell you that Africans are incapable of governing themselves. And that's the reason why we're flagging up people who are autocrats, know them, theocrats, know them, Democrats, know them, pedestal leaders. Nobody can correct them. They don't want nobody grow. Nobody will be like them. You try it, they go after you to destroy you.
Okay.
So we need to
Yeah.
know them and be
Yeah.
able to fish them out and boycott them, put them to relegation zone in football.
Let me, when any of my colleagues, anybody got questions to ask? I want to take one question from somebody that following us again. One of anybody has a question for Doctor before I put a question for one of the no? Okay.
Yeah,
This one
no.
comes. Yeah, you talk about Doctor. You talk about Dr. Sherry. You talk about you lot. You mentioned many examples on President William V.S. Todman as an example. So I had a quick question for you. I need you to answer. This is what the person said. This from Marian Gloma. This is what it said. If you can read for her.
55 years gone, and we still blaming Topman. Yes.
Why are you still blaming
Marian,
him? And I think you should be
because
55 years now. I
because
just want to recap to that.
so
55 years.
55 years is
You should be doing
55
better. You
years.
should be blaming him.
Okay, so here's the thing. We are not justifying that the other people did wrong. But the two-we party rule for over 125 years. Do you know what could have happened in 125 years of proper planning? Look at what Ibrahim Traore has done in 3 years.
No, let me hold you back a little bit, Dr. Sharif.
So
Then what
we
about
begin.
just
Yeah, before
Dr.
you come
Sharif?
there, I'm
Yeah.
trying to make Mariam understand that the foundation, policy planning, the plan you got, this Morovia that we inso, this Liberia, Morovia was planned for less than 100,000 people. Actually, it was planned for 55,000 people. Go to 1953 and 57 Zoning Act. The Morovia Central Prison was made for 600 to 700 people, maximum. They say it overloaded between 500 to 600. Look at the roads, how they plan it. That for 2 cars, one go, one come. They never thought that Liberia will increase, will remain small people.
Okay. Dr. Sharif.
That is an example of bad planning.
Dr. Sharif, Tubman was the 19th president of the country, or what was that, 14, whatever number was. Then when you start from Joseph Jingle Roberts up to President Todman, were you not holding them responsible for laying some of these mistakes coming up to Todman? Why are you taking Todman as a typical example here tonight?
Because he won elections 7 times. He's still on more than everybody.
What about the founding fathers who laid the conditions up to
that
time?
That time the word was just picking up, and so by the time, why do we still blame Charles D.B. King for conducting election in 1927, where 15,000 people voted and 15,000 people registered and 200,000 people voted? Why do we say Charles D.B. King on records in Guinness Book of Record the most fraudulent election on human in human record is from Liberia. So Liberia, we need to understand that somebody has to change it. And the longest serving president who had all the access, who had all the opportunities to have started development. And that's why I set him as an example of an autocrat and a pedestal leader. People used to be afraid of the man. Anything the man said, nobody can question. So we have to set example, let people see the past, because we are looking for a learning point. If you don't have a reference point to say, we made this mistake in certain time of our lives in our country. That yes, we had a leader who made this mistake, so we should not allow another leader to repeat that kind of mistake. We will go back. People who don't learn from history are bound to repeat the same mistakes. So that's the reason why I keep bringing him, because we even gave him birthday, Thomas birthday, November 29. That the time you can see the most beautiful Liberian women almost half naked or even naked, because
Right.
that's the
Okay.
only good thing he brought for Liberia.
Thank you very
Pleasure.
much. Thank you, Dr. We have a couple of questions to ask you. I will also want to ask Michael. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and we've asked if you are following us on the show tonight, the Bottom Liberia. We ask you. We have with us tonight as our special guest, Dr. Mohamed Sherif, who is discussing the different political leadership styles and the good side and the bad side of it. And he gave you some typical examples. If you had a question for our guest, please drop the question in. If you want to call, let us know. We're going to take a quick break and come back. We've got a couple of minutes left for our guest. And so if you got yourself ready, we'll come back. Buckle up. We'll be back with you in a couple of minutes.
Through trials and tribulations, you have prevailed. Your spirit is unbreakable, never derailed. With a rich heritage and culture and grace, Liberia, you are the land we embrace.
You are welcome to the Bottom Line Liberia.
Yeah, you are welcome to the Bottom Line Liberia.
Thank you very much. We want to say welcome again. This is Jamel Kamara coming to you live from the city of Manchester tonight with my colleagues. I got Francis Mensa with me from Sweden, Mr. Dolly from Manchester as well. I'm here with Paul the Law Children from London, and our guest tonight is Dr. Mohamed Sherif. Doctor, can I ask a quick question? What roles does emotional intelligence play in effective leadership?
Okay, before I answer that, so are you far from Bolton, University of Salford? That's my university. I did a master's degree there.
I'm an alma mater of Salford University.
Oh, you from University of Salford or University of Manchester?
University of Salford. I graduated from University of Salford in 2019.
Okay, I was there 2006-07.
Yeah.
University of Salford.
Right. So yeah, okay. Well, I think we'll have you on these days discuss this thing about UK in particular. But let's talk about the role of emotional intelligence, and it has any effective role in leadership. I mean, what role does it play in effective leadership?
So
emotional intelligence.
So that's where you saw me mentioning about pride and ultra ego. You see, the ability for a leader to compose themselves in the midst of managing stress and information is very important. I'll give you an example. If a leader is not emotionally matured, when they can't tell you, say, and I'm going to quote somebody. I'll give an example of Charles Taylor in terms of managing information. He may not have been the best of leader that Liberia wanted, but Charles Taylor had a means that if you are close to him and he get information about you, he was sent to call you and ask you. My man, I hear they say you want to do so. Myself as a student, when my man died in 1998, when I came, something happened They call me, they ask me. Taylor had that good aspect of him. It may not be with everyone, but Taylor was matured. Through the years of war, he got matured in dealing with emotional intelligence. Now, you got some other leaders, once they hear something about you, they will not ask you questions. They'll go into their shell and start to plan to harm you. And that's where if a leader is not mature, or you don't have a mature national security advisor, or a mature national security chief like NSA, any impulsive leader, that's why you see people can be dying mysteriously, because they will just tell the person, say, I want to see that person. There was a time in Taylor time, I want to see that person. People were dying. But when they started to get mature, they got to understand that there are times you ask, or most often, it's good to confront the person, call the person and ask. These are realities. A lot of people have died around the world because leaders are impulsive. They hear something, they get into their say, and just say, oh, like I can give you an example. I was part of a social club. So the social club decided to develop a football team. So in this social club, one of my friends said in the future he will be captain of the team. This guy who was our president for the social club, he was the manager of the club, and he want to be captain on the field again. He won. Once somebody joke with him, say, oh, Alvin said he will when one day he will be captain of the football team. That man made sure that Alvin, myself, and few other people, he add us to that game.
You're not playing anymore.
He moved off from there. He said we will end up being the troublemaker. Guess what happened? They registered to play. The first game, they gave them 4-0. Another game, they gave. Then he said he chose the same team to go play. He said that one that was a mistake. When they beat them, because our goalkeeper, when they beat them again 3-0, he said that Avi and Marcel gave secret to the other side to beat them. So you see how emotional intelligence. He not called to us, or you say we're not part of the game, we're not playing. You go they beat you. So who you blaming? How your one can be manager for the team, you be captain for the team, that your one choosing people who should play.
Okay. Thank you.
So that shows that some leaders are impulsive. Once they hear something, they will not ask. And the best of leaders, I'll give you one example currently in Liberia. And here's the example. You see President Joseph Newman Boakai, he was not elected because he know book or he came from money family. One of the good things that his media campaign did was to portray him as a very humble person, and that he got 40, 50 years experience in government. So once they traded that, okay, this man humble, he can listen to everybody, and if something happens, somebody once those things, that message started to go out to the people of Liberia, then they say, okay, that's part of emotional intelligence, humility. And you got other political leaders, they feel that they are on the pedestal. They feel that they're God. Nobody questions their decision. Nobody question what they say. You hear sometimes some of them will say, "Pwah." It can't happen. I can't take it. Anytime you hear somebody saying, "Pwah," I can't take it. That leader, you put them there. Guess what will happen? They are going to drive the people to jump on the street. Because people, when you push them too hard, take for example, the woman that got 98% in Tanzania, people came out. Look at what happened in Ethiopia. Mengistu, they had to push him out. They had to push out so many leaders because of their pride. They feel that they can't come down. They will not listen. You see protesters go and remove and change government is as a result of emotional intelligence. They are not able, they feel that they up there, so they will not listen to the citizens. They don't listen to advisors. And here's something before you come in. I mentioned Joseph Numa Boakai team, media team, using his 50 years of experience and his humility. Now, President Boakai, something that I need to tell you, and I'm talking to you straight. Since everybody know that we all in Liberia believe that you humble and you can listen to us. Tell LTA the unlimited packages that the phone companies were giving were benefiting students, and now they remove it from there. That unlimited is really harming students' ability to do research, including myself. Me, as student, are doing research in Liberia is harming us, including the other students in Liberia. Everybody crying in your name. Let this be one of the benefits we're getting from you as students. Pull back. Although what we want in Liberia, not all has changed or have changed, but a lot has changed. Although not to the level that we Liberians were expecting, but we're begging you. We know that some things have changed and it's changing. So bring back that other one, Undunchinshe. Bring back that unlimited. Joe, we are kept it there. Bring it back, that $25, $15, how much for students to be able to browse and do research. Bring it back. Your humility is what they traded to us, and your experience in government. Students crying in your name. Please listen and take this thing serious. There is Gen Z. There is Generation Alpha. There is Millennium. Listen, and watch what happening in other places. Bring that thing back.
Thank you very much. That's a passionate appeal on behalf of the students, and in terms of telecommunication, getting access to these top-ups and internet access. Anyway, Mr. Dr. Sherif, we don't have much time with you. I know we will mind to keep a couple of questions my colleague will ask. Then we'll Mr. Dole, do you have any question for our guests, or before we go to Francis?
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Sherif. Yeah, Mr. Sherif. I'm sorry, Dr. Sherif. I would like to know what's the best way forward that any sitting government in our country can really do to make the Gen Z and Marino people to become viable and useful future leaders in our country.
Okay, so what the government can do, there are so many things the government can do. But one of the things the government can do is giving them access to learning. It could be through BWI skills learning program. And for those who want to pursue academic learning, like the way I'm begging him just now that he must bring the unlimited back so that students will be able to do research. Let school fee reduce, because the salary of parents is not much. The civil servants, their salary not much. And I'm also pleading to the people in the legislature You please add small money on the civil servants' money. And you're in the private sector, you see that the economy is struggling. People will go to market, their money not enough. And if families are suffering, they're not able to meet the needs of the children, they will jump in the street and they will take drugs, they will do other bad things. And it's a recipe for chaos in any country. So, Mr. President and the legislature, you please add more money on the civil servants in this budget. We're baking you. You cut it somewhere and add it there, so that families will be able to help their children go to school. And also talk to private schools to reduce the money for school fee. We're begging you that you dare now reduce it for us.
Okay. Francis?
Yeah, before Dr. Sherry leaves, I would like to use the word contagious in the sense that in the context of how African leaders see some of their European or Western leaders behave. I will cite President Trump, his leadership style. Do you think that is a leadership style that African leaders should copy?
You asked an interesting question. President Trump comes from a different environment, and Africa is a different environment. So I cannot tell you that we should copy his style, because every country get their unique culture. Although Liberia is about to forget their own culture, but they have, and President Trump comes from a business background. We are now beginning to see that people who came from corporate or business background are not normally good leaders. Look at the way, I do agree that people are dying in Christians are
I mean, the
dying
whole
in
idea, don't let
northern
yes, people hear
Nigeria.
you. Got to, they'll be mad with you. If you use that and acknowledge it.
So, well, I'm going to give you an example of this man from Peru, Abato
Yeah, just to add,
Fujimori.
I mean, so
Abato Fujimori was a businessman.
that just a
Huh?
common principle from a business lead from a business background, a business acumen. They cannot be good leaders. So in another
Political
world,
spaces.
in
In
political
political
space,
space.
commies
Yes.
commies
So
to
let
not
me
be a
let
good
me let
leader
me
as
just
well.
finish. Let me just finish what I'm saying. Because Abato Fujimori in Peru did well to stabilize the economy. But Fujimori later became he became a dictator. They had to overthrow him. When people went after him with serious protests, he has a background from Japan. So he flew to Japan. Later, he came, what the country name? And then he was arrested and brought back to Peru. You see, Donald Trump, people from business background, they are used to the boardroom and control, most of them. So most of them don't understand that democratic space is different from the corporate world, where absolute decision making, because you have the greater shares in the company, so your voice should be above everybody. No, it doesn't work so in the political space. Political space, in a democratic environment, everybody equal. regardless of how much you put. So Aborto Fujimori was a bad example of that. And when we talk about a religious leader, look at Jean-Baptiste Aristide in Haiti. So I have numerous people to give as an example. You see, America economy was good under Trump, but yes, you see that there are areas that people, you see these few days, what was happening, there was a complete shutdown for almost 40 days or 40 something days in America. Because why? Trump was not prepared to talk to them. Pride. He was not prepared to bow down and talk to the Democrats. So if you have someone from a corporate world, he feel that he can't talk to people, people got to bow to him, putting him on a pedestal, believing that he millionaire, he billionaire, or so. You can't let Elon Musk run a country or Mark Zuckerberg. You can't put them there.
Right.
They are the business world and the political space are two different places. They can contribute by advising the economy, but don't make them president. They can't make a good president. Most of them, from what we have seen from history.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sherif. Is there just I open another discussion that which we may have invited you here to discuss? Well, you look at the kind of the background of the persons and what they fit in the political space. That would be a very discussions we'd like to bring you on one of these days to talk about. But in any case, I want to say a big thank you to coming to the Borderline Liberia. You're always welcome here. And because of the time spent, I think Francis, do you have anything to say before we give our guest to make a parting comment, please?
No, just to to draw a parallel contrast to what he said. I mean, I'm not. No, I mean, I just want to cite an example of a business leader who became a good president, the former president of Argentina. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire from the flower industry. He sold flower. He became president, and he lifted Argentina to where it is now.
Who?
So
Name the person.
What's the guy name? The old man with the Volkswagen. What's the guy name? God, I forgot his
Is that
name.
from Argentina or from is that from Argentina or Hungary?
No, he's from Argentina.
Okay. Now go on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the-
we can get that. The Argentina.
Yeah. Oh,
He's
get
a
it,
calling
but
person
I
of
forgot.
Argentina.
Yeah, he had an old Volkswagen. Right? His name. He just
So
sells
so
flowers.
yeah. So what I'm trying to say, I said most of them. I'm not
Yeah, I
saying
agree
all
with
of
you. I
them.
mean, I'm not disputing. I
Because
understand that word. Most of it.
it comes back from the individual's character, emotional intelligence, how the person perceive themselves and how they perceive the society. Which, and as I said, all leaders that became dictators and so on started as being good leaders. You saw later on they say, "Oh, Gaddafi this," but Gaddafi fixed Libya. You saw you are seeing someone now in Eritrea, Isaias Afwerki.
Yeah.
People say he's a dictator, he's this, that. He's facing a country, but he has a heavy hand. Everybody got to join the army. So you see that the characteristics of people, the way they engage with people when they have not been given absolute power. Mind you, presidential power, once somebody get it, if they want to kill you today, they can kill you, and any kind of funny justification can come as to why you were killed. Or even, in fact, there's no justification because nobody is even going to see who gave you. So we should be very careful people who choose for leaders, whether as representative, whether as senators, whether as president. So it's not only about and even community leadership. Anybody that won't be there forever and is vindictive, go after people, they can't make a good leader. Because to be a good leader, you need to have an open heart, a forgiving heart, because you are going to rule both your friends and your enemies, your perceived enemies.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Sherif. I think we just lost Mr. Dollar. So we want to say thank you very much.
I got his name there, Javier Gerardo Melier.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. All right, then. Thank you very much, Francis. Dr. Sherif, thank you. Mr. Dollar, we have 1-2 minutes to make a comment. Then we'll ask our guest to make his parting comments, if you like. Mr. Dollar? Mr. Dollar, we have to shut you down. We are eating on the platform, if you mind.
No, I mean, it is. What kind of man is that?
So, Mr. Dr. Sherif, thank you very much for coming once again. The time you spent with us, very, very educative. And we also always love to have you on the Borderline platform.
Thank you.
To discuss issues like really concern to most of us Liberia. I mean, there was like eye-opener most of the issues you're raising up here. I mean, we could argue that from now on, I believe there are some top business people made top political leaders as well, which we will discuss that in the future, probably in the next time we come onto our show. But one is a big thank you for coming to the Borderline tonight, and we always want to make this place your home, and also we may bring you on one of these days. So there are some trending issues in the country, so you will speak on because you are a student of law and also a very informed person. And we'll also ask you if you have 5 minutes to give us your parting comment, please.
Okay, so my personal appeal to the Liberian people is that the issue of the kinds of leadership that will flag up tonight, use that to start looking at your children in the home. Leadership starts from the family. Begin to see which of the children that you have able to help their friends, able to help their colleagues in community, and how they behave. Let us start to modify the behavior of our children so that they can come up and become good leaders. Because the family is the foundation of all leadership in the world. And then to religious leaders, please emphasize the aspect of forgiveness. And that's what the Dalai Lama said. He said, forgiveness is not only a religious thing. He said it's a matter of personal healing. When you forgive people, you can't develop hypertension. But somebody who going to bed and get you in their heart, they will get sick and they die, you remain. Some of them will even be in wheelchair while you there, you happy passing. So forgive whoever hold things against them. You. For me, I now hold nothing against anybody who has wronged me. Because I don't want to be climbing tree. There I get rack in the bag on my back.
All right. Thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of today's episode, today's program. Tonight's guest was Dr. Mohamed Sherif, who was speaking on the political leadership styles and the impact on the societal values and personal freedoms. And Dr. Sherif is no stranger to this platform. I want to say a big thank you for wherever you joined us, to those who sent out their questions. Oh, sorry, we couldn't read all the questions because of time factor. We'll find time to read in the future. We also want to bring in the Dr. Sherif in the future to talk on other issues. I think that will be dear and very trendy in Liberia. Wherever you join us from, we say good evening from the Borderline. My name is Jamal Kamara, together with Francis Mensah from Sweden, Mr. Maurice Dolly from Holland. I'm sorry, from Manchester as well. Paul the Lord Chilipe was all earlier. He left us for some personal reason. Once a big thank you. And don't forget, on Tuesday, we'll have a special guest. Usman Yen will be speaking about multiple sales of lands in Liberia. He's a specialist on this area. And financial and real estate advisor. He's coming. You're going to call direct from Liberia. Will be out on Tuesday. This Tuesday. Be a guest on the show. On Liberian time will be 7 o'clock. Sorry, 8 o'clock Liberian time, UK time, 8 o'clock, Central European time, 9 o'clock. We say a happy weekend to all those who join us, wherever you join us from. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sherif. Have a lovely night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.